Come on, man.
Ho, 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 ho.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. It is Sunday night live. We're at the zoo where we take Patreon. We put you together with YouTube and we all come together and we shoot the shit about all the crap that's going on, folks. It has hit the fan. I thought I was going to have the weekend off. I got a couple minutes to myself, had some fun. But for the most part, shit has hit the fan and it's all over us, folks. Now it is really becoming a spiritual war. Church shootings, and we have the Italian Archbishop Vignano says, quote, "Those who resist the new world order will have the help and protection of God." Folks, SHTF, it is a secular war, meaning just regular life. It is a spiritual war. For our hearts, our souls, our minds, what we believe. Because as we've been discussing as of late, right, the Puritans, the Pilgrims, they left Europe to get away from tyranny and despotism and to get free speech and freedom of thought. Well, we got nowhere to run to anymore. We got nowhere to hide. Government is all over us. There's no such thing as liberty unless we secure it for ourselves. And here we are, folks. So it is a spiritual war. Now, Italian Archbishop Vignano. Oh, that's not all there was to it, folks. The website that publishes his speeches and his video taken down 3 weeks after he called for a worldwide conference against the globalist threat. Now, I've got to tell you, it's been incredible. The rise of the people, whether you're a religious person or strictly secular, whether you're a philosopher or a layman, whether you are blue collar or white collar, people are realizing this is about freedom. This is what I've been talking about for years with you guys, right? Go back to the 2016 election. I'm like, why isn't anyone discussing freedom? It's all entitlements and government spending. No. It's about freedom. Now we're feeling the fucking pinch, are we not? Right? You can feel the rope tightening around, giving us a good pull on the neck. Right? They got us on a leash. Wow. Anyways, yeah, Archbishop Vignano, he's feeling it. He's feeling it, folks. I bet you are too. I want to thank everyone for coming here. And this is how this works, right? This is Sunday Night Live. We got a super chat button up here. You hit that button, you make a donation, write a statement, write a question. You'll see the instructions down here. There we go, right? Do you have a statement? You just follow the instructions, make a donation, and I'll make you famous. I'll make you famous. All right, I want to start, though, with Michael Groniger. Is it Groniger or Groniger? Anyways, Michael Groniger made a 556 super chat donation. He didn't donate me a 556. It was $5.56. And Mike has been a great longtime patron supporter of the show. Thank you again, Michael, for all you do to help us. Folks, your donations keep the lights on. It keeps the the pantry full of spam here in the Prepared Mind bunker. And yeah, Mike didn't have a question. He just said, keep on keeping on. And really, folks, that's what we got. We've got each other. And this is really how it all shakes out. Ultimately, folks, anytime tyranny raises its ugly head, it comes down to the people standing together. the people learning, oh shit, we just lost. And as they take more and more liberties and more rights, you start to realize the value of those liberties and the value of those rights. Frankie Rios has become a YouTube member. Thank you very much, Frankie. We've got a membership at YouTube. We have the big membership at Patreon for $2 a month. You guys, everything you do helps. Everything you do adds up. Everything you do, the information I get, you sharing these videos. In fact, share this video. Get the website address up there. Put it in an email and send it to 5 people. Send it to 10 people. Because people out there, they're all waking up. They're waking up. They're feeling it, folks. They're feeling the pressure. Get this, folks, right? They're saying now or never. Geopolitical news, now or never, the great transition. The great transition must be imposed. Right? It's my opinion. This winter, they're going to have their final push to use the pandemic to change the whole world. They need to do it this winter. They're losing traction, folks. Will we, the people, resist, or will we, the people, cave? Now we know, take the people as a whole, split it down the middle, put half of them over in the sheep pen. They're done. They're cooked. That's what they got. That's who they are. That's fine. The rest of us, though, we've got to stand for what's right, or don't stand at all. Have the courage of your convictions. If you believe in freedom and liberty, or if you want to succumb. Give up, bend the knee, take a knee to these evil leftist bastards. Yeah, they're saying it's now or never. They're pushing as hard as they can, and that's why they're not quitting. They're not going away. All right, we got 2 owls with a $3 super sticker. Thank you very much, 2 owls. And Darcy T checks in with an awesome PayPal $50 super chat donation. Hang on to Frankie Rios there. We're going to get to Darcy, and she says, good evening, John. Here's for the spam fund. Merry Christmas from Darcy. Darcy, thank you so much. This Christmas is going to be, I hope, a good one. I intend to spend it with some good quality family time. The week before Christmas, I'm going to, not this week here, but at the end of next week, I'm going to take 1 week and spend some time with family. I'll still be here, though, broadcasting with you guys, but it will be nice to have family time. It'll be kind of interesting. Certainly a big change from bunker life here, but it'll be family time nonetheless. I really believe this is going to be, in my opinion, probably it. I mean, there's areas of freedom and liberty in the world and in this country, but they are clamping down on it. Thank you so much, Darcy, for all of your generosity and for sending me well wishes and information on the backside. Now moving over here, we got Frankie Rios with a 754, another great caliber, another great combination of coinage. And he says, present strength with us. We'll be tuning in from work. Awesome. Thank you for the nice donation, Frankie. Tune in at work. I have got a shit pile, huge list of stuff to do. But, this is your guys' show. This is Sunday Night Live. I'm in the cage. It's the zoo. You guys throw those super chats at me, and not only will I make you famous, but I'll get them answered. It is always a thrill for me to answer questions, to take your guys' comments. And sometimes you're more humorous. Other times you're more serious. Always, though, you challenge me to think in new ways. And folks, this really is what it's about. Sometimes I'll argue my thoughts, my ideas, my opinions. Other times I'll argue other people's. The idea is to get us to think, to go through the exercise. Is what they're saying, is that good? Is that right? Is that close? Or are they way the fuck off? Well, that's what we do here, because I can't tell you in your area of the country with your life experience, who you are. I can't tell you what to be, how to act. I can just tell you, get prepared, food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Have a plan. Have it all together, right? And know that 10-mile radius around you. And we're going to talk about that here in a minute. We got Militant Roots checking in with 1999. And he says, resist tyranny. Damn right, resist tyranny. Thank you, Militant Roots. Just your name alone. My family has been here since the early 1700s. Early 1700s. My family. My sires and great sires. And they were escaping bullshit in Europe, and they got here and they participated in the Revolutionary War. They were here for they've been here this whole damn time, folks. And I think a lot of us, our families, whether your family's been here 1 generation or 10, it doesn't matter. We're Americans. We love our freedom, and it's worth fighting for. All right, we got Rookie in Training for the $10 super chat donation. And this is what he sends us, folks. He says, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much for that, Rookie in Training. Remember when we used to do that? I mean, a lot of the younger folks may not know this, but every day in school, when I grew up, we would stand up, face the flag, put our hand over our heart, and pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. There it is, right? It wasn't pledge allegiance to the government and obey its unconstitutional edicts, right? And to the republic for which that flag stands. So simple. It is so simple. This great republic, the United States of America, these United States of America, not the United States government in Washington, D.C., that little square, but rather the 50 states come together to join and form a republic for mutual defense and mutual benefit. That's what it's about. It wasn't to create an overbearing government that was going to tell us what to do from cradle to grave. But, you know, that's the fight we have. We got Bob Hunter with a £5, looks like a £5 super chat donation. He says, Augustin Carstens, manager of the Bank of International Settlements, is on a diet. He promised only to eat a quarter of the world. Does he like bugs? Oh, man. Thank you for that. The BIZ, the Bank of International Settlements. Folks, the BIZ is the bank of central banks, right? I mean, there are banks so big in this world, you wouldn't believe it. I'll try and talk about it a bit. Meanwhile, we got to get this number up here, or wherever it is on your screen. We got to get more people here live. Right now, we're at 429, and I think we can top 1,000 a day easy. This is live all at one time, folks. It's not a cumulative number of people showing up. It's a live at one time. Already, we're above what the President of the United States gets live at any one time. And I want to salute all of America and all of the free world with a drink of this fine Scottish water. God bless us all. We're going to need all the frickin' help we can get. So, yeah. Let's get down to some business, huh? Yeah, again, get this website address, email it out. And I've got Heidi. I knew it was Heidi. Heidi checked in with a $10 super chat PayPal donation. Thank you, Heidi. You're always there. You're always supportive. God bless you. Everyone, be careful wherever you're at. Christine Bihana, we got your picture. It's good seeing you. I hope you're well wherever you're at. Stay warm. Same with Andrea. Stay warm. Light a fire. Stay warm, Andy Pooh. Okay. Where do we start? Where do we start? It is your show. There is so much to talk about. I want to go with this, though. This December, we're now in December of 2021, marks the 8th year 8th anniversary of the Prepared Mind Network. We started in December of 2013. And here we are 8 years later, instead of saying, well, if it does happen, well, you know, some bad things could start to happen. Well, we've got a war and a pandemic, and you could have some economic trouble. We got it all. We got all the bullshit. It's our 8th year, and Mr. T put this together for us. Sadly, celebrating 8 years in the middle of SHTF takes some of the fun out of it, but really it has been your support, folks, your support that has kept us going good here. We got Sean Penrod checking in with a $5 super chat donation. Thank you very much, Sean. That'll go right in the GTFB and SB fund. That's the get the fuck back and stay back. Folks, I'm in it to win it at this point. I think everyone is starting to feel that we're going to have to knuckle down. It's going to get nasty, absolutely nasty, as shit hitting the fan gets worse. Before I get to Teresa Eiffel, before we get to that, if you could take that down, Jolene, I want to share something with you guys from my own personal life. Take a look at this. That is a store shelf at a local grocery store that I go to. You notice something funny there. Well, this is what signs they had posted. You can see these little like a grayish black signs everywhere. This is what it said. Items in this section have limited availability due to supplier production issues. We are working to bring these products back as soon as possible. Folks, I live in an area that has had zero supply issues since I came into this particular area. I've gotten reports, I've gotten pictures like that from around the country. I've gotten reports of that in Australia, in England, in France, everywhere. They're starting to see this, and it's not getting better. Not getting better. So I want you to be very, very careful, very aware. And this is why I say be fucking prepared. You could go to the store one day, all of a sudden, you got no Capri Suns. The next day, you could have no Kool-Aid. And I'm not talking about the Jim Jones juice. I'm talking about the regular Kool-Aid. All right, let's get Teresa's comment / suggestion, comment, whatever she had up there. There it is. Teresa Eiffel with a $5 super chat donation. And she writes, I signed a contract for life to follow the Constitution of the United States that doesn't have an expiration date. I tell you, folks, we operate under contract law. Contract law, Uniform Commercial Code, contract law. Right, we operate under Admiralty law, Admiralty Maritime law. We operate under a lot of laws and rules. Now, it's fascinating to me why I can take an oath, sign a contract, take an oath, and it matters to me that I swore to uphold and defend and protect the Constitution in these United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Even after I quit getting a paycheck from Uncle Sam. Now, everyone who works for Uncle Sam currently, elected officials, they're all supposed to swear that same oath. And they're getting paid. And they're not doing their job. They're failing to protect us. They're literally, folks, failing to protect us from all enemies, foreign and domestic. And they get paid. Now, at some point, it needs to be well understood that they're violating the terms of their oath. And therefore, they're working for and administrating a government that is working against the people. If it's not working for the people, it's working against the people. They're enriching themselves and they're tyrannizing us. And it has to be addressed because tyrants never stop. They only get worse. And we've got Jennifer, Jenny Jen sends in a $50 super chat donation. Thank you very much, Jennifer, for that. It came through the PayPal route, and she says cheers. And so that's how this works, folks. Cheers, Jenny. Say hey to everyone. Give Lucas a big hug for me. Give Gray a big hug for me, if you would. And tell everyone I said hi and I miss them. All right, we got T96 with a $1.99 super chat donation. And he says, all I hear is Joy wants to vaccinate. It's hard to read. All the words got jammed together here. All I hear is Joey wants to vaccinate. Know what I mean? Oh, yeah. That's all this is about. They are pushing for this now. Hang on to EB for a second. Let me find something here because this is incredible, folks. This is absolutely incredible. Biden's Surgeon General. They're pushing the Omicron unicorn variant. They're pushing it so hard. Biden's Surgeon General goes on TV and says, people that have gotten the Jim Jones juice ×2 plus the Jim Jones juice booster, those people should still wear masks this Christmas. They don't want to let it go. They're clinging to this fear, folks. Fear. Oh, my God. And it's working on the sheep. They're milling around in circles in the pen, bleating at each other. Mask, mask, vax, vax. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. And they're just eating it up. They love that shit. They love it. Meanwhile, folks, for Bristol Myers, that's a Bristol Myers squib, I think. Bristol Myers is a pharmaceutical company. These employees say, you know what? We're suing the company because it refused to accept our religious exemptions for their Jim Jones juice. And here's a quote. Here's a quote, and I want you to listen to this very carefully because we all need to adopt this sort of mentality. We all need to have the courage of our convictions. A lot of people are just saying, you know what? F you, Joe and the gang. I just quit. I'm going to walk away from it. Other people say, you know what? F you, Joe and Dr. Doom, right? And I'm going to sue you. So they're now suing Bristol Myers. And here's a quote, though. As the descendant of a survivor of German concentration camps, I will not comply. I don't know if this person is Jewish or not, but folks, it was more than just Jews that found their way into concentration camps in Germany. A lot of people love to believe that all the Germans became Nazis. That's not true. It was a power elite that took control of the government. Hitler proclaimed himself Führer, which means boss, right? He became the Jefe, the big kahuna, the head honcho, the chief, right? He became a dictatorial tyrant. The German people did not all support Adolf Hitler. Many people, Germans included, found their way into concentration camps. So I don't know what this person's lineage was, but they said, as a descendant of a survivor of German concentration camps, I will not comply. Understanding what happens when despots, when tyrants run the country in the wrong direction, people end up dying. All righty, let's do this, folks. We move on. On Sunday Night Live at the zoo here, we go for 2 hours minimum. 2 hours minimum. Your guys' super chats is what keeps this rolling. I like to go for 2 hours. Sometimes if you've got more and more and more super chats, we just keep going. I've been here, I think, as long as 3.5 hours. That's a long fucking time. I can handle the 2 hours really good, so I'm sure we'll get there. No problem. But again, I want to thank you guys, especially during the holiday season, for taking good care of me, good care of the network, good care of Jolene, who's out there. I think Uman was almost not going to make it. And then, you know, thank the jolly man in the sleigh, got him home in time. He's here with us. So everyone, Merry Christmas, and let's continue with what you want to talk about. So we got EB with a $10 super chat donation. He says, John, any chance that folks who refuse the Jim Jones juice will be cut off from Medicare, Social Security, VA benefits, retirement, etc.? Are we protected from those extremes in the United States? Could they get that desperate? Let's start off with this. Any chance that people can be cut off from Medicare, Social Security? Those are entitlements, benefits paid by the United States government. This is the same United States government that exists on that 5 by 5 mile square plot of smelly, stinky, shit-infested mud called Washington, D.C. It is. When you think, I got to go to the store, it's 5 miles away. That's as far as Washington, D.C. is across. It's not a state. Washington, D.C. is a 5 by 5 city, and that's it. It's a 5 by 5 city, and they run everything. They try to. And so they've roped everyone in and forced people to pay Social Security. SSI is also, when you look at your tax stub, you're like, SSI, what the hell is that? That's Social Security insurance. That's disability insurance. Then you got Medicare, right? You've got all of these things, taxes you pay into. And then they say, look, if you want that back, if you want to try, getting some of those benefits you paid for your whole life as a retiree, you must obey our mandates. You bet. I bet they can. I bet they would love to threaten to take that away from people. They threatened to take away VA benefits, folks. They threatened to screw with people's retirement. They threaten everything. They're threatening to put the military in prison. They're threatening to court-martial them. They're threatening to throw them out with a dishonorable discharge. It is not dishonorable to question a government that asks you to take a drug that is an experimental concoction on the premise that it's actually not that drug, but another drug that has been approved. But that one that has been approved is not being produced. Instead, they're substituting something else that isn't. And you still have to sign a waiver form. Oh, yeah. You ask, are we protected from those extremes in the United States? Just want to be a little careful here. United States means that government. If you're asking to be protected on that jurisdiction, on that piece of ground, look at the January 6th protesters. They were on that piece of ground, and they're now arrested and locked in the Bastille, a political prison for those that the United States government wants to make an example of. Now, if you ask the question, are we protected from those extremes in the United States of America? You're protected in your state, which should be a free state. If it isn't, you might want to consider moving to a state that is free. And it's amazing to think of the United States of America as a combination of free and unfree states, counties, and cities. It's odd thinking of it that way, but that's the way it is. Now, we're protected. We're supposed to be protected by the United States Constitution. The United States Constitution is supposed to restrict that little pile of shit government in Washington, D.C. It's supposed to restrict it. It's supposed to preserve our rights from abuse by that government. The Constitution lays out their jobs. The Bill of Rights protects us, me, you, and the states we live in. Still, are we protected? Well, they don't think so. They think that they don't have to, right? Could they get that desperate? They are that desperate, EB. They really are, right? That's why I talked about the now or never. They got to get this pushed through. They got to do it, right? That's why Biden's Surgeon General says you have to, right? This is a huge, huge, huge fight that we've got. And it's not going to let up. I mean, where to go next? Where to go next? Let's just keep going. Let's just keep going. We got T96 with a $1.99 super chat donation. And he says, makes you wonder why he's so quick to lose his brains. Yeah, we're talking about Joe Biden, our president here in the United Socialist States of America. He loses his temper. But if you recall, the losing of one's temper is also a symptom, right, of a mental disorder. Right? There's been a I don't want to use the word accusation. There's been a diagnosis. There's been questioning of Joe Biden's mental faculties, well, before he even took the oath of office. I hate to call him the president, but that's who he acts like, right? They claim he's in the White House, but there you have it. I mean, I hope you can tell my reluctance. I don't like calling him president because I don't think he is serving the people. I think he is serving an agenda that benefits some very wealthy and some very powerful individuals. But his dementia is something of question. And there are some big problems in the Democrat Party. There's some big problems in the White House. But don't expect anything to change. I mean, things are going to change, but don't expect them to change for our benefit. The changes that'll take place if Biden steps down, Kamala's losing her administration, got people quitting left and right. That doesn't mean that it'll all fall apart and it'll break into chaos. Oh no, there'll be some power party steps up, duct tapes it all together, and then calls that macaroni, puts a bow on it, and says, "Time to kiss our asses goodbye." That's what they're up to. I got Blood or Water checking in with a $5 super chat donation. He says it's no longer called choking. It's called throat complications or non-throat compliance. Trust the science. Woo! That's a good one, man. It's called throat complications. To me, a choke is a choke, Anyways, thank you for the great donation, man. Trust the science. Ouch. I remember when they first started with that slogan, trust the science. I was like, okay, then it looks like we're going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine. Let's trust the science. And the more they talked about the science, the more I said, that ain't science. That's a politician and his agenda. Okay, we got Prepper X with a $5 super chat donation. Says, Semper Fi, brother, and Semper Fi to you, Prepper X. Says, I am grateful for your work and the work of the entire Prepared Mind team. Shining light on darkness is a worthy effort. My goal here, Prepper X, is to get as many people prepared, period. Right? We've been hearing about supply line shortages. We're seeing the cost of fuel go sky high. The cost of energy is rocketing up. Talking fuel, gasoline, diesel. Talking about natural gas, propane. Talking about electricity. It's going up. In Europe, folks, they're really screwed over. It's getting really bad in Europe. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse here in the United States. I want people prepared, right? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and a plan. I say, look, Christmas, it's the season of giving, right? This is Christmas shopping time. People are generous. They give gifts to friends and family, loved ones. Give the gift of being prepared. I think that's the best gift to give at this point. No matter what variation that takes. Giving the gift of preparedness is a great idea. Semper Fi to you, Prepper X. Semper Fi to everyone. That means always faithful. It is a Marine Corps motto, folks, and it has special meaning at this time of year, and it has special meaning at this place in history. Always faithful. Always faithful to what? Faithful to who? Why be faithful? These are all personal questions we get to answer for ourselves, right? To who? Myself, my God, my country. Not a government, folks, the country. See, when I say the country, now I'm talking about prairies and mountains, valleys and rivers, country. The country of the United States of America. right? There's no lines on the ground, right? From state to state. There's political lines, but it's all our country. Very interesting stuff. A little philosophical there. You'll enjoy it. Work on it. Think about it for yourself. We got Crazy Uncle checking in with a $5 super chat donation. He says, "Hey John, they are no longer threatening about the shaft in the military. Know some that was forced to sign a GOMAR and is less than a year from retirement." Oh yeah, it's not a threat in the military. They're doing it. They're threatening everything they can every day. Where do they believe they have the authority to act is where they're acting. Now, they were supposed to back off the federal government on federal contractors, because now not only have we had the federal judge in Missouri followed up by the appeals judge in Louisiana, we had the 5th U.S. District Court say unconstitutional mandate coming from Joe Biden. And now it is my understanding that the 6th U.S. Court of Appeals, the U.S. Court of Appeals, 6th District in Ohio, has ruled, yeah, it's unconstitutional. Still, corporations are saying, oh, you know, while it's up in the air, we're still going to try and mandate this stuff. We're going to keep it on the books. We're just going to postpone the deadline until we're certain. Well, Gigi Biden is losing, and he's continuing to lose. Now, here's where I say don't get your fucking hopes up, right? I'm glad some judges are making good decisions. But look at how bad the decisions are that we've gotten out of the Supreme Court. Look how bad the decisions we are getting out of the criminal prosecution. And I'm not talking about prosecuting criminals. It's a criminal prosecution of the January 6th protesters. That is not law that's occurring there. That is a miscarriage of justice. What is going on? It is horrifying what the government is doing to the people of this country. Absolutely horrifying. If they've got the power, they're going to exercise it. That's all government has, folks. They have authority, and under that authority, they exercise power. Government does not have rights. Does not have rights. Government has authority. And where does that authority come from? Does government grant itself authority? Well, not naturally, folks. The power, the authority rests with the people, capital P, all of us. And the people have entered into a contract with the government known as the Constitution. Constitution, compact, contract, agreement. The government is supposed to abide by the agreement. And if it doesn't, should we? Should we continue to support it and obey it? This is the fight we're coming to. Can you be held to a contract that the other party is not living up to? What is required of us, the people, in the contract? Very, very little. It is the government that is bound and forced to act under the constraints of the Constitution. We're free, or we're supposed to be free, people. We got Chester Wolf the Griffin checking in with a $5 super chat donation. He says, have you seen how high things are in the grocery store? Hashtag hyperinflation. Move over, Venezuela. Here comes America. Yeah, I tell you, it is going up. The price of meat, up. I have seen ground beef up 100%, and I've seen it up only 50%. Either way, it's not good. Either way. I've seen it in the grocery stores, and I've seen it online. Right? That's why we have our agreement. If Jolene would put up the direct link, if you can. I know you're busy back there behind the scenes, but if you can, put up the link to our beef supplier with the Prepared Mind Network. I've got some of their beef. It has been delicious, but prices are going to go up no matter where you are or where you shop. But, we're trying to get good quality food that's not jacked full of hormones and steroids, not a bunch of just fed a bunch of garbage food to fatten them up. Good, healthy beef means good, healthy bodies for us. I'll just leave it at that. Chester Wolf the Griffin, hyperinflation, you bet. Venezuela, folks. They saw their bolivar, which is their version of the dollar, go from, $5 buying a cup of coffee to a million bolivar to buy a cup of coffee over the course of 3-4 years. That's a big deal, right? Can you imagine going, well, I'm a millionaire and I'm going to go have a cup of coffee and then I will no longer be a millionaire because cup of coffee costs $1 million. Crazy stuff. It's possible. It is absolutely possible. There it is, BlueNestBeef.com. If you click on that, just let it sit in the background. Go check it out later. Check out their prices. Check out their products. I can tell you the ground beef is delicious. I can tell you the beef sticks are amazing. They're not full of fat and oil and junk. It's good meat. And Jolene says, 10% off your first purchase with the code preparedmind. That's a great code. I like it. And it really is good beef. Okay, before I get to FJP, I've got another super chat donation that came through PayPal, and it's Cassandra, and says, I just found some interesting old pictures online of the Tartarian era. A Zeppelin, which is a balloon, hot air balloon, was unloading into the Statue of Liberty. Seems like Ellis Island was an airport for a few decades. New historical evidence is coming out about the last smallpox pandemic of the 1850s. Governments were giving the inoculation to islanders. Hawaii got leprosy, and the only people during the smallpox got the vax. It was banned in the States, but they continued to administer it to small islands. Be prepared for a new pandemic for real. Well, I tell you, it's crazy. I think, there is one of the islands in Hawaii had a leper colony there. The Polynesian, Melanesian, and Micronesian islands out there in the Pacific, they got a lot of raw deal, folks. A lot of raw deal out there from the United States government and many others. But all in all, I love Hawaiians and I love other islanders. They just got a great attitude. Really good people. Let's move on. We got FJP13 with a $5 super chat donation. He says, Earth stopped spinning election evening at 10:30, 2020. Never accept, never will. Well, this is interesting. This is interesting. Let me see if I can find it. It has to do with the state of Florida. There it is. There it is. The results of the local 2020 election in Florida were just overturned and decertified. This is a local election in Florida, folks, not right. This is according to a report through the Gateway Pundit. A recent court ruling, a judge overturned the results of a 2020 town council election in Florida. Just to let you know, folks, it's real. That kind of stuff can happen. Problems can be resolved, right? Just because a fraud is perpetrated doesn't mean it has to be allowed to stand. Just because a fraud has been perpetrated doesn't mean that the crime should be allowed to stand. Am I going to put a whole lot of faith in 2020 being whatever? No, I won't. But I just gave you an example of how, right, justice can prevail. Now we're going to move on with a crazy uncle. He's staying after it with another $5 super chat donation. He says, is anyone surprised about what is going on in Australia? They gave up their firearms a decade ago. What the fuck did they think would happen? Well, I'm late. Is anyone surprised? Frankly, I am. I'm surprised by a number of things down in Australia as well as New Zealand. I am surprised. I am disgusted at the governments there. I have no idea how the ministers of parliament, their elected representatives, can go to work and say, screw freedom. We're going to lock you down. Screw your freedoms. We know what's best for you. Screw your freedoms don't matter because we think that something is so bad and dangerous that we can take your rights. You can take your lives away from you. People are being locked up right now in Australia, folks, in concentration camps. It wasn't too long ago we reported that someone was caught smuggling a contraband across a country road in New Zealand. And that was Kentucky Fried Chicken. Smuggling chicken. Folks, they don't care about their freedom down in Australia. If they have their way, people with, shall we say, Nazi mentality, they will be right here in the United States of America doing the same thing, stopping us from traveling, locking us down. There'll be bad, evil, rotten police bastards out there willing to violate your rights for a paycheck. Because this is what they think of you and your rights.
And not just to think about, well, my freedom is being kind of disturbed here. No, screw your freedom.
There comes a time when you do have to give up what you consider your individual right of making your own decision. There comes a time when you do have to give up what you consider your individual right of making your own decision. It's vaccination or disciplinary action.
Giving up your right. Essentially, what they want to do is ask you to voluntarily give up your right. The Australians, going back to the prior question, they gave up their firearms voluntarily. The government, no government, even Australia, anywhere else, has no right. They don't have rights. Remember, government has authority. They have no right to make a demand. And their authority, folks, comes when they point their guns at you or at me. That's all they can do is exercise authority, use their power, right? The power of the dark side. But they don't have any rights. They want you to give up your rights. In other words, they want you to not demand your right, not exercise your right. They just want you to stop. So the Australians, they basically handed their guns over. And now look, the government is stepping all over their heads, their neck. It is the no choke choke. Wasn't that what it was from earlier? Yeah, it's the non-choke chokehold, non-throttle your neck. Yeah, no. You don't piss down my back, government, and tell me it's raining. Right? Unbelievable. Dude, seriously, dude checks in with a $5 super chat. What's up, dude? He says, hey, John, it looks like Gretchen Whitlis was put in her place when she tried to end the line 5 by Canada. They have contracts in place. Merry Christmas. Gretchen Whitlis is Gretchen Whitmore, who I like to call Gretchen the Grinch. Not Gretchen the Climate Grinch, the little Swedish tart. This is Gretchen the Wicked Witch of the governor's mansion in Michigan. She needs to be put in her place a lot more. Now, again, I'm not recommending violence or doing anything illegal or harmful or dangerous, but people know how to put people in their place, and we need more of it. Thank you, dude. Seriously, folks, let me ask you this. Have we learned our lessons yet about people like Gretchen or Governor Pritzker or Governor Brown in Oregon or Governor Dickhead Newsom in California or Governor Cumho and his replacement, dinglehopper there in New York. Have we learned? After telling peasants, woo, up, unicorn virus. After telling the peasants to wear masks, Joe Biden goes out to eat at a posh, expensive Washington, D.C. restaurant. Folks, he's maskless, and there's a mask mandate inside Washington, D.C. But everyone else has to wear a mask. And don't forget that, remember how he was coughing and hacking the other day? And his doctor said he had a frog in his throat? Right? It may have been more like he had Big Richard in his throat. But this is what we got. Have we learned yet? These executives, these legislatures in these, shall we say, socialist-run districts, these social fascists, folks, these fascist governors out here are all Democrats. And they're using power and authority that has not been prescribed to them through the rules. They're now making shit up as they go. And yeah, in D.C., Biden, he doesn't have to wear a mask, even though he's coughing and hacking all over everyone, right? Groping on kids, sniffing on women, telling us his patience is wearing thin, while his little dunderhead buddy there, Dr. Doom, wants to tell us, you have to give up your rights. They're a bunch of hypocrites and liars and thieves. Red Pill Files checks in with a $9.99 super chat donation. Says, I work for Dell. Dell being the big computer company, folks. They are requiring the Jim Jones juice to keep my job. In my response, I sent a copy of the Fifth Circuit decision, and I said I will not comply. I really don't know what the problem is with you getting the Jim Jones juice. That stuff is great. It is unbelievable. Yeah, these corporations they're just dying. They're dying for everyone to just obey them. It is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Corporations are pushing this. Why? Is it because they're fearful of cerveza-bug? Get this right here. I want you to listen to this from this perspective. Once again, there's a lot of different ways to look at things. And I like to look at things a little differently and then ask some questions, right? Whole Foods Market is under fire because it illegally banned BLM masks during the BLM riots and lockdowns when everyone was requiring masks and many people were like, I'm going to wear a mask because I'm scared. They're under fire from a federal, folks, get this. I'm going to tell you, they're under fire. They're in trouble with the federal government. According to a report from Bloomberg, right, the National Labor Relations Board is after them because they would not allow BLM masks or pins. Whole Foods, giant corporation. So let's look at it this way. So a company, big or small, can fire you for not obeying the medical mandate. They can fire you for not following the Joe Biden mandate. It doesn't matter that it's been proven to be dangerous, that it has been proven to be ineffective, right? They can fire you or me or anybody for not obeying the Joe Biden medical mandate, but they can't fire you for wearing a terrorist organization's clothing and symbols? right? A major company like Dell, a major company like Whole Foods can terminate your job, because they want to tell you what medical procedures you must have, or you're fired. But they can't say you're not wearing that mask. That's going to piss off the Labor Relations Board. I mean, give me a fucking break. But that's the world we live in, folks. That is the world of SHTF, where logic and reason is just thrown right the fuck out. It's just thrown out. Unbelievable. There is no logic. There is no reason. There is an agenda, and they're pushing it, and they're driving at it. Get your super chat donation in, folks. Follow the instructions down here. Follow the instructions, and I'll make you famous. Got a statement? You got a question? Ask it. Right? Ask and ye shall receive. Right? Don't ask a question, you won't get an answer. And we got Crazy Uncle back in the house with a $5 super chat donation, and he says, prepper tip. Crazy Uncle always gives us a good prepper tip, at least once a week. Make your own meals and cut the portion size while still producing the same amount. You can fill your fridge without going hungry. This is going to be key, folks. Americans, and I'm not picking on any one group or people, we're all overfed. We're fat, right? We got a lot of excess carbs and excess everything. My recommendation has been that we all get in good shape, improve our cardiovascular, improve our strength training regimen, get used to eating smaller portions. Your stomach will shrink. I go on short-term fasts for health reasons, and also to test myself and get my body used to going 12, 18, 24 hours without eating a big old meal, right? It's a good idea. And then also, folks, if we have food shortages, number one, you should have meals taken care of. You should have food stored up. If they have food shortages, they may have rationing. You know, say instead of giving you able to buy 10 pounds of hamburger, you can only buy 2 pounds of hamburger. Right? Learn how to cook smaller portions, learn how to live on smaller portions, lose weight, get in shape, and get prepared. Now, this recommendation here, you can fill your freezer. Don't wait until there are food shortages to start eating smaller meals. I think this is what was being recommended. Prepper tip: start eating smaller meals now. It'll help you get in better shape. And then whatever you would normally eat, freeze that, put it away, right? Start saving food that way. A lot of people go, I can't afford to put aside 2 months worth of food. You do it little bits at a time. We got FJP13 with a $5 super chat donation. He says, so now President Trump tried to kill Gigi Biden with cerveza, as said by Streisand. Your thoughts? I'm going to have to correct you here. I think it was Bette Midler. That has a recurring terminal Trump derangement syndrome. Now, Barbara Streisand, just her name alone is synonymous with bullshit, BS. Barbara Streisand, BS, bullshit. I don't believe it was Streisand. I believe it was Bette Midler, BM, bowel movement. Talking shit out her mouth. Yeah, Bette Midler is saying that Trump is trying to kill President Biden and he needs to be arrested and brought to justice. My thoughts, and I'm going to be both satirical and sardonic and sarcastic and smartastic and everything else, as well as saying, hey, is this possible? It has been a contention of mine for a long time that the more toxins you inject into your body, the more toxins you consume, the more it cooks your fucking brain. Now, there's a claim, folks, that Jim Jones juice causes heart damage, And I think that's borne out by the number of people with myocarditis. There's pulmonary issues out there, people who are getting their lungs just filled with fluid, can't breathe. I'm not talking about St. George Floyd. I'm talking about other people. Can't breathe, pulmonary failure, cardiac arrest, enlarged heart. And I think also, folks, in addition to other main organs failing or being damaged by Jim Jones juice, I believe those little nanobots go in there and they cause brain damage too. There are people who are, yeah, they have aneurysms, they have strokes. That's a big part with the Jim Jones juice, folks. Strokes, aneurysms, that's bleeding on the brain. People are having a hell of a time with this stuff. I would rather take bath salts than Jim Jones juice, folks. Remember that a few years back when the fucking lunatics who couldn't afford real drugs were eating bath salts just to get high? I mean, if you want to get high, you can eat any toxin you want. It's going to chew up your brain though as well. That feeling of being high is your brain and its wiring getting jacked, literally getting jacked up. Jim Jones juice, folks, I think is causing brain damage. It is making stupid people even more stupid. And it's also been said to have the prions in it. That is to say, mad cow disease, where these spike proteins and other knife-like carbonized molecules are literally slicing things up from the inside. And of course, that causes microclots, which grow into bigger clots, which cause problems. None of this is good. None of it is good at all, folks. But you know, Jim Jones juice, it's good.
Hey folks, at the Prepared Mind channel, we take your health very seriously. That's why we recommend the Jim Jones juice. That's right, the Jim Jones juice. Get yourself a can today.
Just the friendly homes of America are always prepared for hospitality. Not only on Thanksgiving Day, but every day all the year around, no matter who comes to call or who happens to drop in.
There's nothing like hitting the Jim Jones juice, laying one down, and feeling that stuff enter your bloodstream. Oh.
Did Bill leave his pop and candy only half eaten? No, sir.
Oh, heart attack! Defibrillator! Clot! Don't forget, call an ambulance when you get your Jim Jones juice, because it's that good.
Okay, folks, I do like to use humor and sarcasm and satire and wit to make a point. And I also, for anyone who thinks they're offended, right, I know of people, and a very close friend died from taking Jim Jones juice. Fucking died. Heart attack. On the spot. Done. X's over the eyes. Cooked him. On the spot. Yeah, I'll make fun of him, folks, but it ain't fucking funny. And it's touching all of us. It's just, you know. All right, we got Sean Penrod with a $5 super chat donation. He says, I work for a UPS and no juice. Now, we had another UPS worker, Sean, let us know that they're talking about it at his branch or his whatever the heck you guys got, hubs, branches, but it's not mandated yet. There's been the threat that, well, you go ahead and try mandating that shit and they will walk. UPS will walk. UPS, FedEx, United States Postal Service basically told Biden, go fuck yourself, old man. And he said, oh, okay, then I guess we won't mandate it to you guys. Why is it? Just let me ask you this. Why is it that members of Congress, why is it that the staff members, the staffers, congressional, senatorial, House of Representatives, their staff are not required to take Jim Jones juice? Why is that, do you think? Why is it also that members of Congress have given themselves and their staff the world's best healthcare insurance for life? Right? I think they call it thrift. They get the best health insurance and they don't get told to do nothing. I'm surprised they haven't just exempted themselves from all taxes as well. I mean, it used to be that the only people who were taxed were government employees. Did you know that? Because they were engaging in a privilege. It was considered a privilege to work for the government, and therefore you can tax a privilege. You cannot tax a right. Oh, the shit I know, and if I had my way, and we could actually run this country like an honest country with real law. All right, we got Raccoon Eyes with a $5 super chat donation. And Raccoon Eyes says, did you see Marjorie Taylor Greene's video playing her death threat phone calls? Those people were sick. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene is who I like to call affectionately Big Marge. She is a representative for the Republicans out of the great state of Georgia. Georgia, on my mind, Georgia. Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene is hated in Washington, D.C. Actually hated. They have removed her from committee assignments. They've tried impeaching her. They've tried censuring her, which is a form of congressional punishment. They tried all kinds of crap to get rid of her, trying to run her out of her office, calling her all sorts of names like white supremacist, yada, 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 and they haven't gotten rid of her. Now, I did watch it, Raccoon Eyes, and she said, look, nobody, no congressional member should have to suffer under threats. That is, threats. When you receive a threat as a member of Congress, a law enforcement investigation should ensue. They should investigate the person, find out if they're serious. They need to assess whether or not the threat was real. And if a law has been broken, then there needs to be a prosecution. In my opinion, what was interesting is Marjorie Taylor Greene did play the phone calls. She didn't just read. She played the threatening phone calls. And one of them, the dude left a return number. And I was like, and she played the whole number. If you go watch that, if you watch the copy I listened to, you can get the dude's number. I'm surprised she played it, because people probably be giving him a call saying, you want to fight, pal? Let's go for it. Yeah, the people that did that were sick. They're sick, folks. Sick fucks. Now, am I happy with communists running this country? No. Do I know what medication communists need to help them with their affliction? Yes, I do. I would love to administer the proper dosage of medicine that is needed to cure communism. But I'm not going to make death threats to individual members of Congress in the state or local or federal level, nor a judge, nor any chief executive or executive branch members, nor any bureaucratic bastards, those fat fucks who shine their seats with their big fat asses to make the leather all shiny and smooth. And nope, I don't threaten anyone, but I do know what prescription communists need to be cured of their ills. We got Orlando 5509 with a $10 super chat donation. It used to be, folks, before I get to Orlando stuff, it used to be that the saying was this: the only good communist is a dead communist. We fought in Korea against communists. It wasn't Chinese aggression, it was communist aggression. Our country went to war in Southeast Asia and Vietnam. It wasn't to fight Vietnamese or the Laotians or Cambodians. It wasn't to fight people, it was to fight communism. Their communist leader down there, Ho Chi Minh. Ho Chi Minh bastardized the United States Declaration of Independence, our Declaration of Independence, in order to justify a communist revolution there. All right, we were in what was called the Cold War with the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, the USSR, that is communist Russia. Shortly after the end of World War II, way back in the 1940s, shortly after that, we engaged in what was called the Cold War. That is a complete Mexican standoff with nuclear missiles all the way through the end of the 80s into the 1990s. So from the 1940s through the 1990s, we fought a Cold War against communism. Don't tell me now communism is good. Don't tell me now communism is benign. It's harmless. Communism has killed 100 million people directly. More than any Nazi ever dreamed could be killed. Communists have done that. Fuck them. Moving on to Orlando's question. He says, Semper Fi, everybody. Merry Christmas. Be ready for the coming bullshit. We all know how much harder they are going to push. Let's push back. I completely concur. We need to do many things. We need to get prepared, right? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine. We need to prepare. Prep to action. Make the phone calls, make the emails, make the text messages happen now up in DC. Let them know. We know what you guys are up to. We know you're going to push for more lockdowns. The whole world, folks, is having to hear about this shit. We all know it. We all know they're pushing. They're trying to punish us with supply chain issues, with inflation and hyperinflation. Right? They know they're in big, big trouble. They know they have to keep pushing. They have to keep pushing. They want to scare everyone to death. Okay, in New York City this weekend, hundreds of people took to the streets again to protest the mandates and chants of "Let's go Brandon" everywhere. People have had it with this shit. Start fighting back now. Protest. Hold signs, make phone calls, send emails, text to people in positions of power. Send emails to people who are normal and inspire them, instruct them, advise them. The government's going to try locking you down again. Let them know right now you don't want to do it. And here's a phone number. Here's an email address. They need to hear from you, right? And then spread the word. This is called networking, folks. This is why they hate me on YouTube, because not me. I just tell all 80,000 of you, everyone who's a subscriber on YouTube, I just say, you guys spread the word, share the videos. And then through the videos, we all talk about calling politicians, going to protests, peaceful, right? Helping others learn and understand that the world is not what they say it is. So yeah, in New York, it's a fine example of what's happening. It is time, folks. It is time. We got Christine B. Hanna checking in with a $5 super chat donation. Glad you made it home. She says, I am home. Been missing the TPM, the Prepared Mind show, and family. Welcome back. Welcome home. I hope you had a good training session. Christine B. Hanna has been keeping the R Syndicate and Prepared Mind, you could say the executive staff, if you could call it that. A bunch of us just regular people, keeping us informed. Folks, I hope all of you are training. I get a lot of emails and messages behind the scenes from people who are out there doing all they need to, all they can. Like Mr. Q, he's out there out in the deep, dark jungles. Everyone I know that's training is going to benefit from it. Now, people that are making bad decisions, they're not going to benefit. On a U.S. cruise ship, coming out of New Orleans, a cruise ship that was full of fully vaccinated passengers. Guess what happened, folks? The cruise ship was full of fully vaccinated passengers, and I'm sure staff as well. Despite everyone, passengers and crews, getting the Jim Jones juice, they had an outbreak. Right, Governor John Bell Edwards, the city of New Orleans, the port of New Orleans were notified about this incident. They contacted the CDC. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable, right? So what? There were no unvaxxed people there? How did anyone get it? How did they pass it amongst themselves? How is it the cerveza bug even came to exist if everyone it has the magic sauce? I mean, isn't that how this stuff works? I mean, we keep hearing from these politicians about how they're taking it and how it works. I mean, it seems to me that they're full of hot air and bullshit. I mean, yeah, just fucking bullshit. Hot air, lies. You know, the Prime Minister of England, Boris Johnson, you know, I'm sure he got the real stuff. I doubt that he got the real stuff, folks. But it's just it. They're full of shit. They're full of hot air. And as soon as you look at what happens, we look at their policies. They're failing everywhere. It's not the protesters. It's not the what do they call people that don't want to take the vaccine? Anti-vaxxers. They're not the problem. I'm not seeing it. All right, let's move on. I think we had some more super chats to get to, and it is your show. You guys get to ask the questions. Ask the questions. I'll answer them, but hey, I'll make you famous. We got St. Floyd. This is a good name. St. Floyd of the Fentanyl with a $1.99 super chat donation. He says, man, I can't breathe. Take your Jim Jones juice. I can't breathe. Can't breathe. Take the Jim Jones juice. Unbelievable. St. Floyd of the Fentanyl. You know, the whole George Floyd incident. It's sad. It's absolutely sad that a human being had to die. But the science showed us that he died of a fentanyl overdose. The video showed us that he was standing there being questioned by police on the sidewalk, claiming, this is before he was arrested, I can't breathe. And he was going into some sort of pulmonary failure. I guess he had enough fentanyl in him to kill a horse, literally. Yeah, St. George, St. Floyd of the Fentanyl, a man who pointed a loaded gun at a pregnant woman's stomach while doing a home invasion robbery and demanding her car keys so he could steal her car as well. That guy, the multiple loser guy. Woo! Yeah, St. George. Anyways, we got Mr. Skylight checking in with a super chat donation of $99.99. That is a big damn super chat. And I want to say thank you very much, Mr. Skylight. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to everyone as well, but thank you. And Mr. Skylight says, all hands on deck. You bet. It is, that's an old saying, folks, all hands on deck. Basically, it means everyone get to it, right? Find the emergency and address it. All hands on deck, all hands on deck. Wow. I'm going to give you a little bit of military stuff on that one. President Trump was speaking this weekend, and he was speaking of General Milley. That's General Milli Vanilli, the woke general, the chief of the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. That General Milley was telling him, President Trump, to leave military equipment in Afghanistan. And this is a quote. He said, this is President Trump said, quote, this is referring to General Milley, quote, "That's when I realized he was a fucking idiot," end quote. That's some rough stuff, folks. All hands on deck. We have an emergency, folks. Our country is taken over by communists, or if you wish, Marxist fascists. They've taken over the country. They've got Congress, they've got the White House, they've got the bureaucracy, and they've got the military at this time. They've got the military at this time. Before we get to Frankie Rios over here, Democrat politicians, folks, the Democrats are starting to scream again that they want to put more Supreme Court justices in, and they need to add more liberal judges. It is my opinion the reason they're screaming for that is because more and more Democrats are saying, I'm not going to run for re-election in Congress. I have a bunch of them retiring and saying, I'm done, not going to run again. They see themselves losing control of the House of Representatives. And if you think Nancy Pelosi is going to be happy about that, you are wrong. I don't think Nancy Pelosi is happy about anything. That is one sour, dour, unattractive husk of what was once possibly a human being. But they see themselves losing this election. And folks, that doesn't mean, sit back. I am not a Q person that says, hey, someone else is going to do all the work. Let's just get some popcorn and watch. I want you active. We need to be voting. We need to be talking to other people that we know are good people and telling them to vote. If you know any Democrats, you tell them, don't bother voting. You're going to lose. Don't threaten them. Don't do anything illegal. You can dishearten them, though. They deserve it. They've earned it. Right? They're very upset over this, folks. They're already crying. And a lot of people believe that there's a lot of planning on cheating, fraud, election fraud coming up so they can try and hold on to their power. Now, typically, presidents lose seats in their first term as president. So the off-year election 2 years in, they typically lose seats. In this case, Joe Biden, as one of the worst administrations ever in the United States of America. Worst meaning the support of the people, first and foremost. They claim that he got 90 million votes, folks. That's if the dead voted twice. They claim, that's a huge mandate, that he's just incredibly popular. He never managed to fill a super stadium like Trump. No one was interested in coming to see him. Even with social distance circles drawn on the ground, they couldn't fill those. It was the worst campaign ever. Hiding in his basement. It was absolutely terrible. And we're supposed to believe this guy's beloved. He's not. He is a bumbling, fumbling fucking moron. Bad news, right? But we're supposed to believe, right? I don't believe in Santa Claus that way, right? The only Santa Claus I know of is down at the shopping mall, or at least they used to be, if they're even allowed to have real Christmas characters out there in public. Anyways, it's a mess, folks. It's a mess. We got Frankie Rios back with another super chat donation, $5 super chat. And I want to thank all of you for the Christmas Get the Fuck Back and Stay Back GTFB and SB donations. They're keeping me snug as a bug in a rug here in the Prepared Mind bunker. And he says this, on my way into work, saw lots of sheeple making great decisions. Not quite breastfeeding your cat good, but still. I couldn't believe this. I thought it was a joke or a parody or something. Apparently, there is a woman who took her cat on a plane. It was a hairless cat, I guess. Apparently, though, she had it swaddled up like a baby, you know, kind of wrapped up like a baby burrito, and was breastfeeding it on the plane. What the fuck is going on? I mean, when I read that, I usually, when I read stories like that, I'll send information out to Uman and Vaughn and Jolene and Crispy Bacon and say, what planet did I just wake up on? Did it happen again? Was I transported in my sleep to another planet where breastfeeding cats on a plane, isn't that unusual? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. There was something crazy that did happen this weekend that sounds exactly like our communist buddies and something that they would pull. Now, it is becoming widely understood that the January 6th protests that was a false flag operation run by the FBI using their assets, some stooges, some agents provocateur, and cooperating with the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department in an effort to frame patriotic Americans, patriots, veterans, all together. But there was another group that showed up this weekend in Washington, D.C. It's a group that no one has ever heard of. And it's very interesting. Not only did they have their little protest, but they left, I guess, in a bunch of U-Hauls, like, you know, moving trucks. Like they just opened the back and they threw them all in and they drove off. A group, and they were masked. This group of men that showed up. They headed to Washington, D.C. They marched to the Lincoln Memorial, and then they marched back to the U-Haul trucks that brought them to the event. The mainstream media called them right-wing extremists and white supremacists. The big problem here is no one ever heard of them. The group is called Patriot Front. Patriot Front. And yeah, I don't know. They all wore like tan Dockers, dark jackets, and they wore hats. They wore glasses, sunglasses, and they wore a white covering, a gaiter. They look like a bunch of, well, idiot terrorists. But yeah, they're wearing military style boots. Their pants are rolled up or bloused. So they almost look like a paramilitary organization, but they're also carrying flags, American flags on a pole, you know, carrying them high. And it is highly, highly, highly suspicious. I'm wondering what is going to happen next with this group and with the media and with the government. Patriot Front. Have you heard of these people? To me, it just smells like a setup. It smells like a setup to me. Kind of like the the NFAC, the Not Fucking Around Committee, those guys. They look like a left-wing setup group also that was trying to cause racial issues, you know, more divide and conquer. Yeah, I'm just not buying it, folks. I'm not buying the bullshit anymore. There's so many false flags and hoaxes going on. It's unbelievable. We're just under 1,000 viewers 90 minutes into the broadcast. I'm going to recommend you take that address up there, the email address or internet address, and send that out to friends and say, hey, come on, you're going to love what this guy talks about next. Let's get over 1,000 viewers on here live right now. And folks, I was just talking about false flags, right? We had the hoax of Jussie Smollett. He is on trial. We were told that Comet Ping Pong and pizza Pizzagate was lies and bullshit. And then lo and behold, Jeffrey Epstein, right? One of the premier, people out there who just, I guess, are a big part of this super elite this sex slave cult, right? His partner, Jizzy Maxwell, she's on trial. We have this, folks. We have lies, and they lie about the true things, and then they lie about everything. We got another hoax, right? Some crazy teacher has confessed to leaving threatening notes to shoot up an Iowa school where she teaches. In order to what? What is all this about? What does the left keep doing and showing us that they want to do? This lady faces up to 5 years in prison, and I hope she gets it, because she was leaving threatening notes inside the school building. 37-year-old, right? Turned herself in Wednesday because there's an arrest warrant for 3 counts of terrorism. Why? Who does this make look bad? We continue to see these leftists coming out, trying to make conservatives, libertarians, people who love freedom, they're trying to make us look like we are the bad guys, like we're up to no good, but we're not doing anything. We're absolutely not doing anything wrong, and they keep pushing. They demand that you abandon your rights. They demand that you listen to them for medical advice. They demand that you obey them or they're going to penalize us. They demand that you give up your guns because you're terrible. They demand that you denounce yourself and your race. Incredible. They want to use the police to arrest people they don't like, but they hate the police. I've got this story here. A restaurant in San Francisco is refusing to serve policemen, claiming their guns make them feel uncomfortable. Uncomfortable. The people in the restaurant say that the police guns make them feel uncomfortable. Folks, you just take that, and I would like you to compare and contrast that. Down in Los Angeles, residents are stunned, apparently, at violent crimes. The violent crime rate is going up in the wealthier communities around Los Angeles. This is their quote. Never seen anything like it. What do you mean you've never seen anything like it? Where were you in 2020? But this is what's happening, is everywhere that there are fewer police, and police are like, oh, we're not wanted, we're not loved, we're not needed, whatever, okay, fine. And so there's more and more crime. Hey, folks, number one, if you're a prepper and you're in suburbia, are you learning your SHTF lessons yet? Right? Now, when the poor, scumbag, left-wing, communist lunatics are done robbing each other in their neighborhoods, they're going to go and they're going to walk that 10-mile radius around their home looking for victims. Like I said, have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Have your plan and understand the 10-mile radius around you. Because if there are bad guys in that radius, they're going to find you. You best be prepared. Suburbia, Los Angeles, we've never seen anything like this. So get ready for more, stupids. Get ready for more. And that's not it. But wait, there's more. There were a group of youths over the weekend who beat, kicked, and stomped the ever-loving shit out of a municipal bus driver, right? Apparently, the bus driver was out of the bus, and he was doing something, inspecting the bus or looking at something, and a bunch of Utes, to me, in the video that was on Twitter, apparently I can't talk about Cerveza Bug in honest terms, but you can have videos of Utes beating the ever-loving shit out of a bus driver, kicking him, pummeling him, while others filmed and others just laughed and laughed and laughed about this guy having the ever-loving shit beat out of him. You know what I thought when I saw that? I thought, I wonder if that bus driver wished he had an AR-15. I wonder, as he got kicked in the stomach, kicked in the head, punched, I wonder if he wished he had a 1911 that he could pull out of its holster and protect himself with. Now, I did not hear that the bus driver died, but if you had 10 young, nasty people surrounding you, having thrown you to the ground, and they're just kicking the shit out of you, do you feel that your life would be at risk, at danger? Do you think this bus driver would rather have been able to pull that pistol and jerk that fucking smoke wagon and say, hey, you guys back the fuck up or I'm going to lay you out, right? You're threatening my life. I bet he would rather deal with that than the possible injuries he has, like ruptured spleen, bruised ribs, bruised heart, possible lung damage, damage to his intestines, damage to his kidneys, brain damage, damage to his eyes, teeth kicked out of his head, broken nose, possible blurred vision. Folks, when you get the shit kicked out of you, when you get beat up, it's bad. My grandfather was killed by muggers in San Jose, California. If I remember the story correctly from my mother, he got mugged, he was beaten, he was killed. I bet this bus driver wishes he had an AR-15 like Kyle Rittenhouse, or a 1911, or a Glock, or something. Unbelievable what's going on in this country. Where were the police? I'll give you a big guess. They were nowhere near. They were nowhere near. Where were the police? You think the police in Chicago feel very loved, wanted? Not right now. No sirree, Bob. Not right now. Let's get some more super chat questions from you guys. It is your show. Now, Monday through Friday, folks, we get videos up for YouTube, but if you're over on Patreon, you get stuff first, and you get to do Q&A all week long, as well as Sunday Night Live. And we have a good time doing it. And that's only on Patreon. Now, here's the deal with Patreon. It's $2 a month. It's 7 cents a day. But if I disappear off YouTube, and I did last week, I think it was last week. Was it the week before? Whatever it was, I got a strike and they took it back, right? I appealed it and said, hey, you guys are all wrong on this one, right? I didn't do anything wrong. They repealed it. But when it happens, they don't give me a warning. They just shut the channel down. But on Patreon, you never miss a beat. You never skip a beat. No siree, never skip a beat. I want to thank Mr. T again for making all these great bumpers, promos, all of the parody videos. Okay, thank you, Jolene. Got the message. All good. What we do here, folks, is we want everyone prepared, period. We have the preparedmind.club. It is our superstore. And often I'll run the commercial for that at the beginning of the video. Because a lot of people show up a couple minutes late, and I don't want them to miss any of the good stuff. And it's not like anyone has ever not seen a bumper ad. The club is your store. Now, that last week also got attacked, not by YouTube, but it was attacked, folks. It was attacked. And we got some, what do we want to call that stuff? Malware. And so the company that takes care of that is removing it and repairing the site. They don't like us being free, folks. They don't like us helping each other. They don't like us networking, talking. And what we have now on Patreon, on YouTube, working together is just a fabulous crowd of people concerned about themselves, concerned about others, willing to help others willing to reach out and help others, getting prepared. It is going to get much, much more nasty, if you will. The fallout from all of the bad actors around the country is going to get worse. Like there's just consequences. You can just put it that way. There's always consequences. There's short-term consequences. There are long-term consequences. At the Illinois State University, the former football coach there was fired, folks, because he had some problem with his wife. She had some medical things to take care of, I believe breast cancer. So he was taking care of that. While he was gone, someone slapped a Black Lives Matter sign on his office. And so when he got back, he pulled that sign off and he put his own sign up that said, "All lives matter, and in the eyes of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ," something like that. He put "all lives matter" and then made a faith-based response and left that up. And as soon as he was asked to take it down, he took it down, and then he was fired. Now, Doug Cherdar, this is his attorney, the coach's attorney, said in a press release, "It's come to this. If you put the government's message on your door, you keep your job. If you replace it with your own message, you're fired." That's exactly what happened. Once again, this speaks to where we're at in this nation, in this country of ours. Where are we at? Where the mainstream media, where big tech, where the government has an agenda. And if you fight them, if you stand up, they will destroy you. Right? Whether it's Bette Midler or Barbara Streisand, right? Whether it's George Clooney or some other clown, right? These celebrities, these media people like Brian Setzer. He actually asked over the weekend, he asked a panel on CNN, "Have we lost the trust of our viewers?" You answered your own question, dickhead. Right? The media, entertainment, government, the military leadership, not the rank and file, literal rank and file, media, military leadership. They've lost our trust. They've lost our respect. And in order to get it back, what are they doing? They're coming down with a heavy hand of authority to punish us. You will do as we say. And if you stand up and oppose it, they'll send their thugs after you on the street. I wouldn't want to be a bus driver at this time. Or they'll send their thugs out of the FBI after you. It's incredible. There are political prisoners in this country. They're setting up concentration camps in this country. They're continuing to try and hire people to work in these concentration camps. And I don't think they're going to have any problem finding people to work with them. Because if you listen to the people that threaten Marjorie Taylor Greene, there's a lot of sick people out there who want to see Republicans die, who want to see you, me, your spouse, your children, your grandchildren, your parents hurt or killed, folks. That is what they're up to. Now, I'm going to attempt to read this. And this is one of these news articles that I would post on Patreon. That's why I want everyone on Patreon. Right? And I can't talk about this subject. This is in, folks, in Congress. Senator Ron Johnson said that many Americans died from COVID. Is that true? Well, sure. But the reason why I can't talk about, right? Senator Johnson, this is a United States senator, and I'm not allowed to quote him, folks, because the heavy hand of censorship, the heavy hand of government will come down on me. And it's not just to silence me, it's to deafen, to make sure you can't hear. And then you can't share with someone else. That's what they're trying to do to us. That's why your support of this channel through super chat donations, through sharing the videos, right? through all the efforts you make out there, going and talking to others and writing congressmen, this is where we're at. This is what we got left. When we're done with that, when they've taken all of those tools away, we're only going to have our Second Amendment tools. Senator Johnson said there were cheap, available, generic drugs that could have been used. But he said many Americans died from cerveza bug. So did you put 2 and 2 together there? Did you figure it out? What he said, which I can't repeat? That's how sick and disgusting this government is. Big tech, big corporate, big corporate power. They don't want me talking, right? They don't want me telling you, don't shop at Walmart, don't shop at Amazon, don't shop at Dick's Sporting Goods, Dick's. Don't shop there. Don't buy their shit, because all you're doing is supporting a bunch of very rich and powerful assholes who hate your guts. Unbelievable. Thank you, Senator Johnson, Republican out of Wisconsin, for standing up and saying, Dr. Fauci, right? And this was his question, folks. Let me ask his question. He says, quote, I ask a simple question. Did Dr. Fauci's response to COVID-19 work? Dr. Fauci is the foremost expert in all things science. He told us just last week. He says, I represent science. He's the science god. The temerity, folks, the chutzpah, the unmitigated gall, the megalomania of this little cretin is incredible. And when senators stand up to him and talk to him, he questions their integrity and says they've committed crimes, and tried associating Senators Rand Paul and Ted Cruz with January 6th, as if January 6th was anything more than a staged, bullshit, media-driven false flag that was intended to make Trump supporters look bad. And it has turned into a full-fledged, 5-alarm bullshit spectacle used to discredit and further discredit Trump and anyone who loves freedom in this country. That's what we got. Right? And I can't question it, and you can't question it. Well, we can, but we're not allowed to talk about it. It's ridiculous. Anyways, thank you, Senator Johnson. We got another guy standing up, just waiting to get kicked in the teeth. Oh, by the way, for those of you who aren't aware, Chris Cuomo, little shitty, smarmy turd brother of a former governor, Andrew Cuomo, been fired from CNN. Fired. And a high-powered attorney representing his accuser has released a statement on sexual assault allegations against Chris Cuomo. Isn't that what we heard was the problem with Andrew Cuomo? This is the same Cuomo family. The Cuomo family in New York is the same as the Daley family in Chicago, is the same as Pelosi and her extended family in California. They run things, and then they run them into the ground, and they think they are like gods, kind of like Dr. Doom himself, the little turd, the mighty midget, has been in power at the National Institutes of Health since the 80s, folks. He is not a doctor that sees patients. And if I was sitting in a doctor's office waiting to take care of a medical procedure and that little fuck walked in, I probably would not be pleased to see him. Fascinating stuff going on, folks. Where are you at in your preps? Have you gone over everything? Right? You need food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Are you fully prepared? Do you have a plan? Do you understand what's going on? Are you watching the neighborhood around you, or watching the city around you, or the town if you live in a rural town? Are you watching? Are you asking questions of people you know, coworkers, friends, maybe business associates that could be Republicans or Democrats? Are you getting a sense? You see, these are the things that I do when I go out. I want to talk to people, and I don't just walk up to them and start spouting off talking points or start attacking them, you know, but I like to ask questions to find out where people are at. Hey, have you seen the price of hamburger lately? Have you seen the price of vegetables lately? Have you seen the price of gas lately? I'll just ask people, and they'll tell you, yeah, it's gone up, right? That's a nonpartisan question. I like to ask nonpartisan questions. Hey, man, have you noticed the violence around here? Has it gotten any worse? We can ask that question. It doesn't have anything to do with partisanship. The person can say, oh, yeah, things are bad, or, you know, things are fine here, but I heard over there, you know, 5 miles over in Smithville, right? Or Jonestown over that way. Yeah, they're having some other issues. I like to ask questions, right? So I can feel people out, meet new people that I think might be good. I am always talking to people to discover more information. I hope you're doing things like that as well. To me, it makes sense, right? I'm already there. I'm already taking the time to find out what is going on. Right? Here's another one. Right? We're not just talking about just hamburger. We're not just talking about vegetables. Right? Supply chain issues. It's not just fuel. There are now shortages of heart medications, antibiotics, and cancer drugs. Were you aware of that? Right? Are you prepped up? Do you know what's going on in your neighborhood? Right? The store that I put these pictures up on. Right? Let me put this picture up here again. These are the shelves at a local store. Right? There's absolutely no reason. The store was not raided in a flash mob. It's a decent neighborhood, and it is a huge national chain. It's a popular chain. Now, when I'm in the store, there's maybe 5 to 10 customers total. You don't see shopping carts backed up in the aisle and people loading them up. This is not a payday, right? 12/4 was not payday when I took these pictures. This is because they don't have the inventory, right? There's a growing problem with chain pharmacies, CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid, that sort of store. Right? There's 111 medications on back order, including heart meds, antibiotics, and cancer drugs. Right? I say, do you have food? Do you have water, shelter, clothing? And I always mention medicine. I mention it in terms of first aid kits, the ability to do first aid. I'm concerned about your fish and your pets, and I hope that you have fish and pet antibiotics in case they need it, but also other medications for humans, like do you have horse dewormer? That's another one for your pets. Make sure you have a supply of horse dewormer. This is really critical, folks. But heart medications, antibiotics for humans, these are all prescription, cancer drugs. I don't know what you're going to do if this situation gets worse. How many folks who are older, in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, require heart medication to live from day to day? If these drugs, they're on back order now, if they don't show up, people are going to start dying. Are they going to blame the unvaxxed for this? Or do we blame the Biden administration? Do we blame the manufacturers? There is no excuse and no reason why these pharmaceutical drugs shouldn't be be being made and distributed properly. All right, let's move on. It looked like we had a super chat question up there, Jolene. We do. It's David G with a $20, bam, super chat donation. I'll make you famous, David. He says this: thank you, John, for all you do. I'm getting ready for big changes in my life. Great respect to you and the rest of the R Syndicate Prepared Mind community. Thank you very much, David. I appreciate both the sentiment and the super chat donation. And I get a lot of people saying, you know, if it wasn't for you, John, I would not be prepared. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't understand where we're at. And I have to say, if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be here. If you guys didn't give a shit, I'd be like, you know what? I did a few videos. I said my piece. I moved on, right? As it is, folks, this job, if we want to call it that, sitting in this chair here in the Prepared Mind bunker, is a great job that gives me a great deal of satisfaction, because we all share information with one another, and it all comes to me, and then I get to talk about it. I talk about things that I find to be important, interesting, of special note, and we get to see, does it have value? The information, the belief systems, are there consequences? Are they short, long term? Where are we at in all this? The economy, taking a shit. Value of money, as inflation goes up, the value takes a shit, right? How's the military doing? The morale is taking a shit. If you're in the military and you're not a jackass, you know, we love you here in America. If you're one of these woke fucks, the American people don't respect you. They don't admire you. They don't love you. They don't want you in charge. They don't want you making decisions. America does not like a bunch of wokies in the military. We want tough, hard as nails Marines, soldiers, airmen, and sailors. That's who we want protecting our country. Not a bunch of social fucking misfits pretending to be mainstream, fucking everything up. You know, this is our country though, folks. This is what they're doing. Everything, education. You call what they're doing to kids educating? It's indoctrination. What can we do? Do your best, folks. You know, sometimes your kids love you. Sometimes they hate you. Sometimes they don't know any better. They would and should grow up. And hopefully they all will. Hopefully they all will. And realize, you know, come to a true understanding of history. Most of these dumbass kids, by the way, have no idea what communism really does to both the will of the people, their spirit, their wealth. It's crazy. And speaking of crazy, Crazy Uncle is back with another $5 super chat donation. And he says, a good friend of mine did take the, gave his horse the dewormer, just in a much smaller dose, claimed it fixed him up good. Still not trying it myself, though. You? Folks, I was in a married relationship for 23 years, and we had horses. I'm very, very familiar with horse dewormer. What I can tell you is it doesn't taste very good. I asked the horses, and they said it tastes like Vaseline with a drop of apple juice in it. I asked the horses, I said, how do you feel? And the horse says, I feel the same as before. I haven't had any side effects from the horse dewormer. Didn't make me feel better or worse. It just is. I asked the horse, well, do you have any worms? The horse said, no, don't have any worms. Do you have any parasites? Nope. Do you feel like you've got a cold or a flu? And the horse says, no. You know, folks, I have no problems with it. You ever see the show Mr. Ed? If you're older, you might remember Mr. Ed, a talking horse. And the show started off with a song like this. A horse is a horse, of course, right? And the show was about a talking horse named Mr. Ed. So I just pretended like I had a conversation with my horses. And they've taken horse dewormer many times with no side effects, no negative, no nothing, not toxic, didn't hurt me or the horse to give the horse the medication. Now, I know people that have taken it and said that their negative symptoms disappeared. dried up in as little as 4 hours, a change in the way they felt. Now, there's people that have taken horse dewormer, and then there are people who have been prescribed the same medication by a doctor and had the same results as people who took horse paste. Within hours, they felt better. Within days, they were cured. People who thought they were going to die, that weren't getting any better. Kind of like that old man that I read a story about just the other day, who was being denied proper medication. He was dying in the hospital. He finally won his court case. The hospital was forced to give him his treatment, and then he started recovering. Good for him. I hope he's doing well, and I hope he sues the ever-loving fuck out of them. Moving on, we got Frankie Rios with a $5 super chat donation. Frankie says, I downloaded the Food and Drug Administration papers and left them in my break room at work for all to see. Whoa! Be careful, man. Don't get yourself in trouble. When you start putting things like facts and science out there, look out. Look out. Folks, science is scary. It requires you to think. It requires you to examine the facts. That's why all these sheep in the sheep pen, they would love to just go, look at Fauci, right? And they just, I'm going to repeat what he says. That's science to them is a little underdeveloped man. That's their idea of science, is looking at a man. I'll tell you, you go read the papers. You listen to what doctors say. Go read the FDA papers. Go read what Pfizer released. Read the state and federal statistics on what is happening. Do your own research. Compare notes with others. Read what normal people say. Read what experts say. Read what doctors say. Read what researchers say. And after a while, you start to get a flavor, kind of like apples. You get a flavor of where this is all going. You get a sense of an agenda. You get a sense of all the lying. You get a sense of the power grab. You get a strong sense of it all. Anyways, this is Sunday Night Live, and it is live, folks. I tell you. If we're done, I'm going to wrap it up because I know this week is going to be one hell of a week. It is going to be busy. We have a lot of court cases. We got a lot of law enforcement action. We got a lot of bad moon rising. We have t-shirts coming, folks. I've got my Prepared Mind Kyle Rittenhouse t-shirt. We're going to have proofs. We're going to get them printed up. Those are going to get they're going to get sold directly. We'll probably use PayPal. What we'll probably say is, well, you have to make the PayPal donation. You have to give us your address, and they'll be shipped to you. They'll be drop shipped by the printer. But this is important, right? We also have on YouTube, Jolene has got some other brand new Prepared Mind shirts coming out for Jim Jones Juice. So we're going to say, as soon as I get my proof from that, I'll show you that. As soon as I get the Kyle Rittenhouse Prepared Mind shirt, right? Fuck around and find out. That shirt is coming out. I can't wait. We're not a huge company, folks, the Prepared Mind Network. It's a network of people. So when we say we're going to do something like this, it takes a little longer than say a company that has a bunch of people getting paid, you know, staffers. We don't have a bunch of staffers getting paid, right? We just, everything goes into our expenses, just keeping the show on the air. But we're going to have some awesome t-shirts come out. They're going to come out. They should come out in black, blue, dark red, maroon, and dark green. We'll have them. They'll come out in large and men's extra large. They're going to be really a great item to have. What is being marketed through the YouTube channel are t-shirts and other Prepared Mind merchandise, which is great for Christmas. It's available. We have, like I said, all the preps for sale. It is the season of giving, and why not give the gift of being prepared, or give the gift of satire, comedy, humor, and meme. Right? You want to communicate a message. I've worn Prepared Mind shirts out in public, folks, and people start laughing. I've had people honk horns and go, yeah, right on. I've had that because people get it. All right, we got Jules Lackney with a $4.99 super chat donation. Thank you, Jules. Says, I'm an auto body mechanic. And we can't get parts. If we can, they are on back order for weeks. We have been using a lot of used parts. That is absolutely amazing. Now, folks, if you know anything about the auto industry, you're good. If you don't, let me give you an idea. I used to have a Jeep. Now, Lucas has my old 1948 Willys Jeep. If you want parts, you can't buy parts. So there's this thing, auto dismantlers, used to be called junkyards. Auto dismantlers, they get a car and they take all the good parts off of it they can, and they put them in boxes and put them in crates and put them on shelves, and then they list them on the internet. And there are parts internet networks, parts networks everywhere. And so now, if you can't get new parts, I bet they're having to go through all of these used parts networks looking for, I mean, if a car is 1 year old, there's not going to be as many parts available as if a car is 3 or 5 or 10 years old, because cars that are 3, 5, or 10 years are probably going to have a better chance of being in an accident, taken off the road, dismantled, and the parts being recycled. That's right, folks. America is becoming Cuba. Cuba still has cars from the 1950s on the road. Their taxis are from the 1950s. How do they keep, vehicles that old running? Well, by making it work, right? This is what they've done to us. This is what the political leftists have done to our nation. They've reduced us to this. Can't get parts. We got massive inflation. Can't get food, can't get medicine, can't get fuel. We can't get anything from the government done properly. We got Carport Carl with a 556 super chat donation. Thank you, Carport Carl. 556, my favorite number. $5.56. Thank you very much, Carl. Folks, I am whipped, exhausted. Normally, in regular life, I would come back from a weekend fully charged. But in the world of SHTF, right, I come back from the weekend, and Sunday night, I just get the crap beat out of myself with you guys. 2 hours plus, again, 2 hours plus of grinding questions, topics, subject matter, and it just sucks me right back into the world of SHTF so we can fight. We've got all week long, folks. It's going to be news story after news story after I can't fucking believe what's happening, and I can't believe it's not butter. It is coming. It's coming faster. Are you prepared? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. I've got my stack of Spam, folks. I've got my sprout seeds all set. Right? I am really glad Clearwater Crispy Bacon, his channel is called Clearwater Chris. I'm glad Crispy Bacon did those videos and discovered that you can have a salad a day, a fresh salad a day by using sprouts. What a great idea. It's wild, folks, what's going on. It is absolutely wild what is happening in our country, in our world. Get prepared. Chance favors the prepared mind. Right, is yours. Semper Fi, Godspeed. I'll be back bright and early. Nope. We got Jolene just checked in and said, sprouts from Sprout Man. There is the link to get the sprouts. We got, now I'm in commercial mode. Folks, we've got a new gas mask supplier. If we're going to have Ebola and pox and real diseases going out there, you're going to need a gas mask, not a fucking paper mask, not your wife's panties. That's not going to save you. A gas mask that's rated to absolutely remove, toxins out of the air, nuclear, biological, chemical. Get a real respirator. Anyways, you guys be cool. Thank you again, Jolene. You kicked some ass tonight. All of you guys have been kicking ass. Spread the word. It's time to get prepared.
Ho, 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 ho.